So here we are for the duel. So this duel is gonna be against a runic player. So it's gonna be an example of how to play the upcoming card. I believe it's Angelica's Angelic Ring. I believe it is, but I think in the OCG or other prints it just says Angel Ring, I believe. And as we already saw in the beginning of the video, it shows you how I've been playing it since 2009, like five years ago, with the right hand in combination with the Dark Magicians. When you talk about the Dark Magicians, there's no one in the community that really either brags about it or summons it, or even talks about it, even in combos. One of the reasons why is because they don't know how to play Dark Magician. All they know is how to play Dragoon, and then once you get rid of the Dragoon, they lose, right? Without a Dragoon, they lose. And that's why I keep pushing and telling people you're gonna wanna play the Diabel Star Engine, because it finally plays like the AC-130 as I made in the other video, which is deck dependent. It doesn't depend on the extra deck. The extra deck is just extra, meaning the deck can win duels by itself. And that's the correct way to move for the Dark Magician deck, because the Dark Magician community breaks a lot and they lose. All they have is Dragoon. And the correct way to do it is like I did in 2019, creating the AC-130, letting the deck win duels, but also having the extra deck to support it. And Diabel Star does that. Now, what you're going to want to do is pay close attention to your monsters to make sure they qualify for the requirements. So for the Magician's right hand, it used to be the Spellcaster. But for the Angelica's Angelic Ring, I believe it's any monster. And what we're going to be doing here is showing you some advanced plays, making the Dark Magicians into a boss monster. So here we go. Dark Magician players are not able to win duels against Labyrinth, or they can't win any duels against Runic. It's notorious. They can't win any duels against Flunderiza. There's a long list. But for my budget deck, for my cheap rogue version, all of those profiles are trash. So I'm gonna be showing you some plays here so that you can look forward and see if you need to update your deck to some of these cards. So we got a board full of spells, as you know how Runic works. The right hand. So he knows it's gonna be negated, so he's gonna be chaining and bringing the fusion, and then obviously this one's going to negate something, right? Dark Magician. Stack Dark Magic Attack. Play it, and then he's gonna negate it when I activate Village, say Eternal. And then he's gonna follow up by a Floodgate. So typically you don't see Floodgates in the what's called in the Runic, because they play all the fountains, all the tips to the max, whatever the balance is. They play trios of everything, so they got a very good consistency. But sometimes they feel like it's not consistent enough, and they might add, like for example, some Floodgates. I have seen them with Floodgates, but they're all spells. It's all gas. So he's gonna be activating it, and then only one attribute type. We're gonna activate the restage, bringing it, sending 2 to draw 2. And then we're gonna go into what people don't consider a boss monster, but thanks to the right hand, or if you have the village on the field, the Dark Magicians is a boss monster. So the correct way to play him to make him significant is you would have to increase the number of quick play spells together with traps in your deck, because when it activates an effect of a spell, it is negated. So it feels like the Dark Magicians is responsible for doing it, because without a spellcaster you can't do it anyways, right? So it goes well with the Dark Magicians. You'll negate the first spell played, and then on top of that, it doesn't matter if it was negated or not, the effect will trigger. You can read it right here. And then from there, it'll pull the top card of your deck, If it's a continuous spell, it sets it face, no, if it's a trap, it sets it face down and it's active already. If it's a quick play, if it's a quick play spell, it does it as well, and then also it's already active. Now for the normal cards, it won't work because they're not quick play, right? You can only play them during your turn. So I increased the number of quick play spells and the number of traps to like 8, so that I know if when I play the Dark Magicians, it is a boss monster, because the Dark Magicians can, if you combo it off with the Soul Servant, you can stack anything that you need there that is either a quick play spell or anything that's a trap that's Dark Magician related on there. Now, if you have like a circle, you can even do it where you draw the card you need, and then on top of that, you'll have the Dark Magicians. You can stack it to where the skill drains next, and then it'll chain effect of the Dark Magician. To put it to you simply, you're stacking and setting up the card, the Dark Magicians will pull out and put face down and activate the same turn. In that case, the Dark Magicians is broken. It has drop power, and then you can activate it that same turn. So it is broken. Together with the right hand, it is. So there it is. We negated it, and that's gonna trigger the effect of it. And the card that was at the top of the deck was Twin Twister. So it allowed us to activate it, set it, and activate it the same turn. Popping 2 cards, and then he chains to negate a second time. He chains to negate a second time. And that was the end combo that he ended on, because we did all that during his turn. And that's what I'm trying to tell people. In a technical sense, the Dark Magicians is a powerful boss monster if you know how to play him, because you can play during your turn and you can play during your opponent's turn thanks to the Dark Magicians. And there isn't that many spellcasters that can do that, except like Dragoon and a few others. But the Dark Magicians allows you to play both together during your opponent's turn and during your opponent's turn, and then the right hand, the same thing. During your turn and your opponent's, it's alive. And it feels like a boss monster. We're gonna get the rod, circle, and at this point you can stack anything you want and the Dark Magicians will draw it. And then you can still trigger the effect in the graveyard. More draw power. So if you don't get it by now, we're not trying to win the duel. Like always, we're never trying to win anything. All we're trying to do is make our opponent surrender with negations and interruptions, because that's the correct way that I feel that you test the deck. Because a lot of people tell you like, man, I only had 100 life points, but I lost because I couldn't beat them. That's definitely a sign that your deck is not strong enough. For me, it doesn't matter what card he draws. Like even if he draws like evenly right now or Kaijus, we're going to be entering into a Dragoon, so none of that will matter. And the Dark Magician is going to be coming out to banish the Dark Magicians that was supposedly like sent to the graveyard. We could just bring it back out. It doesn't matter. So in case you missed that combo there, I purposely linked, and I'm not trying to kill him or finish him off. All I'm trying to show you is the combo combination. So Link Spider, and then after that Dark Magician with Eternal, and then you go into Whelp. Now if you have Inmuk, you could have just done one move, right? Inmuk, send Dark Magician and bring him back, and then straightforward right there go into the Dragoon already. But in my profile, because I play there can only be one, sometimes I have the Bestial and I don't want it to interfere, so instead of the Inmuk, I have the Link Spider. But if you prefer to do the Inmuk, do that, that's fine. It's just that I'd rather have multiple. This is how I win my duels. You have to deal with the floodgates, multiple negates, like 3 negates, and then 3 interruptions. It's like 6 on top of the floodgate. So it's too much to handle. Even with 6 cards, you won't be able to out the field. When you pop the back, that's already protected. So you're basically wasting my time. So here, so that you see an advanced combo. So we're going to be doing like a chain link 5. So he's going to play a card. We're going to chain link 2. Then he's going to do 3. Then we're going to do 4. There's going to be 5. Then after that, there's going to be a 6th, and then the 7th, and I think like 8. It's going to be like an 8. So what's going to happen, he's going to play a spell. Let's watch it on real time. So he's going to trigger that, for example, and he's got the Runic Fountain. And then we're going to go ahead and chain off because the Dark Magician's effect is about to activate, so you want to chain it so you can get the effect, the Soul Servant. And then he chains as a chain link 3, and you can see the numbers here, 1, and then it says here 2, and then you have here 3, chain link 3 on the top over there, and then you have chain link 4 back here. So you got the 4, and what's going to happen from there is the first card that resolves going to the right hand, which will be the Runic Tip. We're going to go ahead and negate that, and in reality all that's happening is a Dark Magician's with the right hand in a circle. You have the Dark Magician, but that's not really anything, but it does help. But what I'm trying to say, the field looks like it doesn't have anything, but it's actually jam-packed of negations, interruptions, a lot of nasty plays. And to follow this, we're going to be stacking Secrets of Dark Magic, setting it face down, and then activating it, entering into the Dragoon. From the Dragoon, you have another Omni Negate. So let's count them. So he did 1, and then you do 2, he did 3, then 4, and then it's gonna be 5 with because it might not count it as a chain, but it's gonna resolve right after it. It has to, because the Dark Magician was summoned. So it'll be 4, it'll be 5, and then 6 with the Dark Magicians, and then it'll stack the card, then draw it, that's 7, and then it'll activate it, that's 8, and it'll bring Dragoon, and Dragoon will be an Omni Negate. So that's 9. So there's about 9 different plays going on from this board that people would consider to be weak. And this is just goes to show you that Dark Magician players don't know how to play this. This combo, I invented it back in 2019. It's old. You see me do it all the time. It's just people don't pay attention to what I'm doing, but it's broken. So he surrendered because it's gonna get banished. So you're getting your banish. He's not gonna resolve it. And then the Runic card he played is negated. That stacked that card is gonna set it face down. And this is all during his turn. You have to deal with it. Let's look at what he has to deal with. Okay, so he has to deal with the right hand negation, banish, so that's 2. And then Dragoon, that's 3. It's 3. You can dump, for example, a Dark Magician's, and then try to search, because you have the rod right here, you can get, what's it called? A servant. You can get a servant, and then with the servant, you can stack a way to get to, what's the name? Apprentice Illusion. But there's a lot of ways to get to Apprentice Illusion and the Dark Magician Girl. So you'll have Dragoon, Naruto, the Dark Magicians, and then you have the right hand in Eternal. So it's already too much. It's like 4 or 5 negates or interruptions. And as the deck draws, you're going to be getting more, because you're going to be getting the Village, and then on top of that, you're going to be getting Dark Bribe, and then you keep getting more until you're already around 10 negates.